Minecraft is a game that is near and dear to my heart. I've been playing for over 8 years. I started on PS3 of all places, played on multiple consoles, in Bedrock, and on Java. I've always wanted to start a forever world, but I also realized that I had a ton of fun starting over. Something about the fresh promise of a new world combined with the idea of commitment and sticking with something for the long term. But I just needed to find the perfect seed, and I needed to be ready. I roll my eyes when YouTubers come out with so I decided to finally start my Forever World video, but perhaps now I'm in a place where I understand some of them, because here I am with mine. This seed is the seed that inspires me. This world is the world that I want to stick with for a very, very long time. Join me as we create together my Forever World. Here we go. I spawned into my Forever World and took a look around. The scenery is nice and there's some spruce nearby. I think I'll build somewhere around here. I punched a tree, mined some stone, and made tools and weapons, and a furnace. I spotted a cave up on that snowy hillside and wanted to investigate. On my way, I ran across some sheep. I took them out so I could make a bed. I found some coal, so I made a few torches. I spotted some dark oak. I made my way into the cave and killed a spider to earn the Monster Hunter achievement. I mined some iron and returned to the mouth of the cave to set up a camp and go to sleep. I put up my furnace, a crafting bench, and a campfire to get established. I made a shield, a bucket, and a pair of boots. I collected 31 iron in the cave, got it a smelting, and then started clearing the birch trees away from spawn for building. I did some light terraforming by digging up and placing dirt to level out our build area, then placed a ring of torches to have one bright, safe place in this dark and lonely world. I used my iron to make tools and armor, and I got suited up. I moved my bed down to the new area and set my spawn point. I slept out in the open that night. The next morning, I started a simple wheat farm. It started raining, so I built a little roof over my bed. It's a pretty humble abode, isn't it? The rain developed into a storm while I was exploring, and I ran into some pillagers. While I was running away, I came across a village. I was so desperate, I slept in a yellow bed. Ew. I grabbed a lectern, and some books, and some hay bales. I was disappointed that there were no potatoes or carrots. I arrived back home, cooked some meat, and made a spare bed to prepare for my next outing. Spruce wood. I climbed the snowy hill and started harvesting spruce saplings and wood. I returned home with 4 saplings and was greeted by a skeleton. I thanked him by freeing him from his mortal coil. I placed the spruce saplings in the nearby field that I had cleared and leveled, and I was on my way to farming a good building wood. Before long, one of the trees had grown. I cut it down and replanted. I got enough saplings to plant a giant spruce, so I did. Next up was dark oak, so I set out south to go collect some. I got above the dark forest canopy and started using my hoe to gather saplings. I spotted a fire, and when I went to investigate, I discovered a ruined portal. Perhaps this will be our first portal into the Nether later. There was some obsidian and a sharpness 3 golden sword in the chest. On my way home, I found a dangerous little cave and used a creeper to vanquish my foes. I got back to the base and planted my dark oak saplings. I needed more iron, so I created a spare shield and prepared to go caving. I went to the cave where we spent our first night and was ambushed by a pillager, so I took him out and got the bad omen effect. I found some iron in the cave and mined it up, but I only ended up with 16 before exhausting that little cave. Still, I was grateful for the extra tools. It was night out, so I used my spare bed to sleep in the mouth of the cave. I was reaping my wheat field when someone snuck up on me. I decided to make a project board with the things I want to do soon in this world. We need cows and sheep, a source of bones, a house, and a mine. Also, we want to build a path to the portal, scope out the local area for potential build sites, and we want to light up those sites. And we've got one extra sign for now. I'm going to think about the footprint of a home and maybe place some dirt blocks as placeholders. I'm also going to do some tree farming. I'll be right back. Okay, here's what I'm thinking for the shape of the house, and here's the entrance to our mine. We need resources badly, so down we go. I was hoping for a safe, enclosed branch mine, but I ran into a huge cave instead. I started spreading some light around and ended up using a lot of torches. I got some iron though, so that's good. I found a little cozy nook and lit it up so I could establish a small mini base. I set the iron to smelt and pressed on, hearing thunder from a storm up above on the surface. I continued to light things up, dodging creepers and fighting zombies. I ended up with a half stack of iron, but I was nearly out of food, so I returned to the surface. A zombie woke me up in the morning, and then a creeper did some unwanted terraforming near the site of our future house. Armed with 40 loaves of bread, I went back down into the cave. Things felt quiet. Too quiet. Then a creeper jump-scared me. After placing a ton of torches around the area, I reached the abandoned mine shaft and started lighting it up. I found a minecart chest with golden apple and melon seeds. And then I found diamonds, 6 of them. I found a couple more, but a jack-o'-lantern skeleton wanted to fight me for them. A spider jumped me in the dark, but it was no big deal. I'm not a scaredy cat, like Ted. I found another diamond, that's 9 if you're keeping track at home, and then 2 more, 11 now, and then another 3. But before I could pick them up, this creeper blew through my shield. My friend Josh gets lost, thinks the skeleton may have shot my shield just before the creeper blew up, and so that shield was in cooldown mode. Anyway, it took me just over 5 minutes to find that spot, so I lost all of that stuff. I found a skeleton spawner though, which is pretty nice. I'll need to build a skeleton farm at some point. I was able to find 7 diamonds in the mine shaft and escaped before something else went wrong. I left the mine and went to bed. I needed some cheering up, so I started working on the house. My plan is spruce planks and dark oak logs, which is a longtime favorite combination of mine. We've got a pretty neat cave to explore further, which is cool, and even though losing the diamonds and other gear was discouraging, I'm excited to build this house. I built a fence to hem in some animals and then set off to look for some with wheat in one hand and shears in the other. I got some wool and lured 2 sheep into the pen. I set off again to find cows and had to travel quite a bit further this time. But I found a cool flat area with a nice view, and I made a mental note that I could potentially build something cool here later. I discovered another village, and there were some cows nearby, 4 of them. It was going to be a long, slow trek back to the base. Only 3 of them made it back. I don't want to talk about it. I started working on the house again, but quickly realized I wanted the stone cutter from the nearby village. On my way, I found a lava pool, which will come in handy later. We'll get fuel from here, as well as obsidian. I grabbed the stone cutter and saw a black sheep on the roof of a villager's home. How did it get there? I returned home, put the stone cutter inside, and started installing some oak flooring. I made a diamond pickaxe and a bucket for water. I'm going to need them. I used the water to convert lava to obsidian and grabbed a couple for an enchantment table. I filled the bucket with lava and brought it back to the base. I headed back down into the caves to get cobblestone and deep slate for my roof, and I saw some iron I just couldn't resist.
Yes, please. What was that?
Oh! Jeepers creepers! Literally a creeper. Fortunately, I was able to easily reclaim my stuff this time. I found a heretofore undiscovered portion of the abandoned mine shaft and decided to set up my own branch mine inside. I need a bit of cobblestone and deep slate, so that's the plan.
Is this an iron vein?
Yes, Peter, that is an iron vein. I mined it for a while and found,
Ooh, a raw iron block.
yep, a naturally generating raw iron block. Fun! I ended up with 167 iron, 11 diamonds, and some other goodies before I ended up calling it quits. Back at the base, I dumped off some stuff and made a cauldron to get our lava farm going. Cobblestone for safety. Once the cauldron filled with lava, I grabbed it to fuel the furnace and smelted 100 iron. This is really going to get us going. While I was waiting for that to smelt, I did a little more work on the house. I think I like the height. Once the first stack of iron was done, I made 3 extra cauldrons to expand the lava farm. Progress on the house continues slowly, but steadily.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
The cauldron filled again, so we took the lava and returned it to the top of the farm, doubling its productivity. Now it was time to think about the roof. I wanted a mix of deep slate stairs and stone stairs. When it got dark, I decided to move my bed inside and sleep there. In the morning, I continued work on the roof. Since the roof was now covering my bed, I decided to tear down the original little lean-to shelter. I put in the spine of the lower roof and things were really coming together. Part of me is going to miss that old lean-to, but I'm excited to have a real house. I went to grab some lava and noticed that my cows were all over the place.
Whoa, wait a minute.
The lava must have burned the nearby birch tree down and caught the fence on fire. So I did some quick repair work, grabbed some wheat, and lured several cows back into the pen. I wanted to get a look at my roof from a distance.
That is weird.
Yeah, something was definitely funky. I climbed a hill to look at it from another angle, and it looked much better.
Okay, what if we put a chimney here? Would that help it look less weird?
Yeah, I liked my chimney idea, so I went down to the river to look for some clay. I grabbed some lava and started smelting bricks. I began making brick blocks so I could get a start on the chimney. I placed a campfire on a hay bale, because hay makes the smoke rise higher, and once I finished the chimney, I wanted to take a look from a couple of different angles. So which thumbnail did you see? Was it thumbnail A, thumbnail B, or thumbnail C?
Well, that's it for episode 1 of My Forever World. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. And if you want to see more detail as far as how I got here, check out the unedited, unabridged playlist, maybe linked in the description below or in a pinned comment. And I'll see you in the future for more Forever World right here in BasementCraft. Goodbye.